I was going to start off this video talking about Rogue One's legendary monkey creature, Bistan. However, news came out that Carrie Fisher suffered a heart attack on a plane and unfortunately died very recently, so I'd just like to say instead, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. And even though it's late, I guess this Rogue One review is in honor of her. On the day that this has been uploaded, I saw Rogue One 2 weeks and a day ago, and it's taken me that long to make a review, even though this is one Friday night that I'm deciding to make a Rogue One review. Hey there guys, this is Mr. Chicken Movies here, and welcome back to another video, and today I'm reviewing Rogue One. It's Disney's first anthology Star Wars film, and it's directed by Gareth Edwards, written by Chris Weitz and Tony Gilroy, it's scored by Michael Giacchino, and stars Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, Ben Mendelsohn, Donnie Yen, Riz Ahmed, Zhang Wen, Alan Tudyk, Mads Mikkelsen, Forrest Whitaker, and James Earl Jones. Although it's been like 2 weeks, and there are only 3 people who haven't seen Rogue One in the entire planet, I'm not going to give any spoilers away, because none of them are pivotal on my actual thoughts of the film. With that said, let's get on to the review. This is the first Star Wars anthology movie, which means that it isn't an episodic film, and some general audiences and idiots, or people that aren't really aware with Star Wars, may be thrown off, but if you know what's going on, you'll have a blast with the film, because I will say, this film is great, or at least in my eyes. As a Star Wars fan, I can say Rogue One is a really good movie. For a start, the film is beautifully shot. Both the practical and CG effects are great, and the cinematography is pretty good. As well as that, it's a well-directed film with terrific set pieces, action, and design. It's another addition to the Star Wars universe that feels like it's straight out of the originals, but it has a slightly different aesthetic and, looks more modern, I guess you could say. Gareth Edwards really does a good job capturing scale and tone as well. Visually, it makes the film a war film. It's dark and conflicting. Like in The Force Awakens, the stormtroopers are conflicted, and an example of that is Finn. He doesn't know if what he's doing is right. This time it does the opposite, and it gives the rebellion some grit, it gives them some dirt, and it gives us some actual interest on whether we're really supporting the good guys, which makes it such a good add-on to Star Wars A New Hope. The writing itself is well paced, with the occasion of a couple of lines. Admittedly, the first act is a bit jumpy as well, and weird, but it picks itself up to display one of the best third acts in film history, which I'm not even going to give any hints on. It's so amazing. Characterization is well done, the highlights being Chiwetel Ejiofor and K2SO. Felicity Jones was great, but she didn't do as good as Daisy Ridley did in Episode 7. Cassian was an interesting character, but they did little with him and nothing with his backstory. Same with characters like Bodhi and Baze, whose characters aren't developed enough and aren't given enough backstory, so that we care about them, but unfortunately we don't care enough about them, and a lot of these characters just lack the purpose to do anything. Like, for example, why are Chirrut and Baze on this mission? I don't know. They'll explain it in another anthology film, undoubtedly. Most characters, with the exception of Jyn and K2, have next to no backstory. And I'm only saying K2 there because, it's pretty cut and dry what his story is. Because of this, the characters weren't as engaging as they could have been. Ben Mendelsohn was suitably over the top towards it, and I loved it. But he wasn't the villain I feared or thought of. For that, there were other villains. One of them who I think was used perfectly in the film. Another who had a weird, uncanny valley feeling to them, who, again, I won't spoil. But I've got to say, we actually did have a really good human villain. That's what Star Wars Rogue One is focusing on now, and I love it. Galen Erso, Saw Gerrera, Mon Mothma, Admiral Ratus, and various others aren't worth mentioning because they don't get much screen time or anything. And there's a random scene of a weird squid monster. I know it's a bit thrown in there, but hey, so was the weird squid monster that can read your mind. I think the Star Wars film randomly turned into an anime halfway through. But yeah, a lot more time could have been done developing character. I mean, Galen Erso is such a big character in the film; he's so important, but they do nothing with him. Like, they've been really well realized, but not much of their potential is used, and not much backstory is given. It's got good characterization, and that's about it for the characters, with the exception of Jyn Erso, of course. Regardless of my nitpicks, I find it to be a very engaging film, and I find it to be really well done, better than The Force Awakens, in my opinion. Yes, there are flaws with it, but I can look past it and have fun. Well, not necessarily fun. Enjoy and be entertained by what I'm seeing on screen. The film is pretty well understood and plays to its strengths, becoming a really entertaining film and by far the best Star Wars prequels.
I don't like sand.
Yeah, not saying much, I know. The music in the film is pretty good, but extremely forgettable. But, you know, it isn't done by John Williams. Okay, now to the nitpicking part. While I did like some of the references to things from the originals and the prequels in Episode 4, it did feel a bit pandering and at moments. It wasn't beating you over the head with it. It wasn't being really ham-fisted in what it was doing. It just, yeah, there was quite a lot of it, and it was just like, really, the guy from the Mos Eisley Canteen, okay, he's gone now. Well, that was great. But, you know, it makes sense, considering it takes place, like, 5 minutes before Star Wars A New Hope, and it does one thing which I just have to give crazy props for. It improves upon Star Wars Episode 4. So you might as well have it ready to play on your Blu-ray player when you get home, because you're going to want to watch it after watching Rogue One. 50% chance of that, because I know I did. In my opinion, it's emotionally gripping, and whilst it is pretty gritty and realistic, it does have humour, and most of the jokes land, although sometimes they have jokes right next to dramatic scenes, which really doesn't work. It may be too sad or dark for some, but this strengthens the film, in my opinion. In conclusion, with the exception of underutilized characters with little development, and a decent first act with a couple of weird lines, there are only nitpicks and spoilers to critique the film for, but again, they're not huge. I mean, you could argue, well, a lot of the things in the trailer aren't in the actual movie. Who cares? Was there anything you really wanted to see in the trailers that you didn't see in the film? Yeah, I didn't think so. Yet again, it did have some characterization for Baze, so I guess that's a bit wrong. Other than that, there's only nitpicks and spoilers to critique for the film. However, you know, I'm going to leave that out, because this is a spoiler-free review, you idiot. It has pretty good characters, and is superbly shot, very well directed, excellently written, mostly, has engaging action scenes and new areas of the Star Wars universe to explore, and adds and improves on Episode 4, and adds a lot to the Star Wars universe. Go give it a watch, you will not regret it. Oh, and don't expect much of Darth Vader either. He's not important and isn't intended to be. He has like 3 scenes, and I can say 2 of those scenes are excellent. Actually, there is only one other thing I can say, which is it doesn't add many new visual things to it. It takes a lot of visual cues, but it doesn't really have any iconicity to it, you know. In several years, I think the character of Kylo Ren and BB-8, they will be iconic. However, nothing in Rogue One, I'm sure, will become that iconic unless, of course, they're used again. For example, Bistan the alien monkey. Please give me more of him. And finally, Star Wars Rogue One is my favourite film of this year, of 2016, and I'm absolutely giving it a 5 out of 5. Does it have problems? Yes. I don't care, because it does good things. It's a good film. It's very, very well made, and I enjoyed it. Granted, you don't have to agree with my opinion, and I'm not asking you to, but it's my opinion, and, you know, you are kind of here for that. As I said, general audiences may be thrown off. However, if you're a Star Wars fan and you know about this film, then you are definitely going to like Rogue One. And with that, guys, I'm going to end the video here. So, for a start, check out my other Star Wars reviews. I've done an Episode 7 review like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm good there, and I know this video is extremely late, but who cares? Check out my gaming channel, Mr. Chicken 167 for a start, where you'll get various things. And, of course, check out my Twitter, at Mr. Chicken 4321, and let me know in the comments, guys, what you think of Rogue One. Did you like it? Did you hate it? let me know. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. And I will see you guys tomorrow, because I'm doing a ton of videos apparently. Bye-bye!